Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Geology with Saran. Today we'll be dealing about fluid dynamics. What is fluid? Fluid are substances that change their shape easily under their own weight. The basic properties of these fluids are density and viscosity. The density is defined as mass per unit fluid volume and it influences the movement of the suspended particles and the fluids under the influence of gravity. The viscosity is the measure of ability of fluids to flow. Fluid dynamics is a branch of applied science that is concerned with the movement of liquids and gases. It also deals with the interaction of fluids with solids or other fluids at the boundaries. The most common thing which is being dealt in the dynamics is turbulent and lamellar flow. Fluids in motion displays two modes of flows, depending upon the flow velocity, fluid viscosity, nature of the surface, density, and the amount and the size of the sediments. If all the molecules within the fluid moves parallel to each other in the direction of transport and never intertwine, the flow is heterogeneous as there is no mixing and generally a smoother surface. Then such type of flow is said to be lamellar flow. And if all the molecules within fluid moves haphazardly in all directions but the net movement is in the direction of transport and they are intertwined a very complicated manner, heterogeneous fluids are thoroughly mixed and generally at rough surface, then such type of flow is said to be turbulent flow. You can see here in the diagram, these arrows are depicting the movement of the flow. The particles here in the turbulent flow are moving haphazardly in any directions, whereas in the lamellar flow they all are moving parallel to each other. The flow will be turbulent or laminar is being defined by a dimensionless quantity known as Reynolds number. The fundamental difference in laminar and turbulent flow arises from the ratio of inertial forces to the viscous forces. The inertial forces, which are related to scale and velocity of fluid in motion, tends to cause fluid turbulence, and the viscous forces, which increases with increasing viscosity of fluid, resists the flow and tends to resist the flow. This relationship of inertial to viscous forces can be shown mathematically by a dimensionless value known as Reynolds number. Professor Osborne Reynolds conducted the experiment in 19th century and derived the conclusion by documenting difference between lamellar and turbulent. The transition from laminar to turbulent flow takes place above the critical value of Reynolds number, which commonly lies between 500 to 2000 depending upon the boundary conditions. When the value of Reynolds number is less than 500, the flow is lamellar. And when the value of Reynolds number is more than 2000, the flow will be turbulent. In between this, the flow will be in the transition state. Here you can see that Reynolds number represented by Re is given by rho Vd upon mu. Density of fluid is given by rho, V is the velocity of fluid, and D is the diameter of the pipe through which the fluid is been conducting. This mu is the dynamic viscosity coefficient of fluid. Next is Reynolds number. In addition to the effect of fluid viscosity and inertial forces, gravity also plays a vital role in the flow as it affects the way in which a fluid transmits the surface wave. The velocity with which small waves move in shallow water is given by expression GL, where G is the gravitational acceleration and L is the water depth. The ratio between inertial and gravitational forces is the Froude number, which is expressed as Fr equals to U upon under root GL, where U is the mean velocity and G is the gravitational acceleration and L is the water depth. Now we'll be dealing with the critical velocity and the flow regimes. The fluid velocity at which a particle becomes entrained in a flow can be referred as critical velocity. The flow regimes can be stated on the basis of Froude number. If the value of Froude number, that is Fr, is less than 1, then the flow is subcritical and the wave can propagate upstream because it is traveling faster than the flow. So this will be the condition for upper flow regime. And if Froude number is greater than 1, it indicates that the flow is very fast for a wave to propagate upstream and the flow is supercritical, and this is the condition of lower flow regime. But if the condition of Froude number is equals to 1, then the standing waves temporarily forms at the surface of the water and before breaking it in the upstream direction. Here you can see that for the value of Froude number, where Froude number is equals to 1, the flow is critical, which is equal to 1. Froude number greater than 1 has a supercritical flow. Froude number less than 1 will have subcritical flow. These type of interaction of the sediment with the waves or with the particle gives you the bed forms. Now what are bed forms? A bed form is a morphological feature formed by the interaction between a flow and a cohesionless sediment on bed. Here in this diagram you can see the sedimentary structures which are formed in lower flow regime, and here you can see the sedimentary structure which are found in the upper flow regime. This is the wave surface which has been showing you ripple marks, sand dunes, and these are the transition dunes. The sand motion is the intermediate position and then intermediate to continuous. The sediment transport is in the low concentration in the lower flow regime. So, and the stratification type is small trough foresets between 20 to 35 degree, large troughs from 10 to 35 degree. In the upper flow regime, you can see that the planar beds, standing waves and anti-dunes are formed. Here the concentration of the sediment transport is higher. The tabular set of planar beds of stratification and other beds are formed. Massive to crude foresets dipping upstream beds are formed. Well, this is about the sediment interaction with the fluid. Thank you for watching.